This is the Polygon Siskiu D6, and I think it's the best first full suspension mountain bike that you can get. But I want to make it better. So join me as I experiment and upgrade to make the ultimate trail bike for the money. So first things first, with any good experiment, we need a control and baseline. So first, let's start with the weight. Away. So with some quick maths, that leaves us with 16.2 kilos, which at this price point really is pretty standard these days, but it leaves us with plenty of wiggle room to line things up a fair bit. But weight doesn't mean too much until you ride the bike on the trail. So let's take a closer look at our test loop and see how the bike performs. So that's the ride done. I was really impressed with the bike, so let's head home and see the times. So how did we go? So climbing up Escalade, we got 5 minutes and 11 seconds. On the upper section of Metamorphic, we got 1 minute and 8 seconds. In the Techie section, we got 12 seconds. Then in the lower part of Metamorphic, we got 40 seconds. And then on Pickabeen, that last climb, we got 3 minutes and 52. So it doesn't really mean much at the moment, but it will soon. But more importantly, how'd the bike ride and where do I think that we're gonna get the most gains? So if you wanna check out my full first ride review, I'll leave a link in the description. But the main thing I noticed on our loose trails up here in Brisbane, that I couldn't trust the front end as much as I'd like when the trail got really rough and around a lot of those loose corners, especially after jumps. So I think the best thing for us to do is to upgrade that fork, and while we're there, we'll upgrade the wheels and tires too. And then I think a little bit of extra traction from the fork, as well as some grippier tires that are set up tubeless, will give me just what I'm looking for. So let's get into it. So for the wheels, I decided to go with the new Entity wheel set. These have a 30mm internal width. They're also available in 35 if you want something wider. They come taped pre from factory, and they've also got tubeless valves, so all we're gonna need to do is put the tires on and add some sealant, and we're good to go. The hub doesn't sound too bad either. So to keep things value oriented, I decided to go for the V Crown Gem for the tires, and mix with the wider 2.3-inch width, the faster rolling tread pattern, and the lower pressures we can run with tubeless. I think this tire is going to give us a lot more confidence out of the front end of the bike. So there's 3 real main reasons that you go tubeless. The first reason is that it saves a little bit of weight ditching that tube for the sealant. The second reason is you can get away with running lower pressures without the risk of punctures. So this is going to give you a little bit more grip and comfort as well. And then the third reason, because you're ditching those tubes as well, you reduce the chance of pinch flats. And if you do get any small punctures, hopefully the sealant should be able to seal it up. So it's a win, win, win. So the tires and rims set up tubeless perfectly, which is always good to see. But before I put the cassette on the new set of wheels, I wanted to see just how much weight I saved by going tubeless, putting on the new tires, and then the new wheel set as well. So the old set of wheels with a stock tire, tubes, and rotor, that came in at 5.2 kilos. And the new set of wheels fully set up weighed 4.9 kilos. So we saved around 300 grams there, which might not seem like a lot, but this is rotational weight, so every gram counts. So let's get the cassette on and install the new fork too. So for the fork, I decided to go for the RockShox Select Pike in 130mm of travel. So this is 10 more than stock. So this will give us a little bit more confidence to attack the descents, and it'll also raise the front end up a little bit, which should help on the descents. But other than the extra travel, we'll get a fair few extra benefits from this fork. So the first one, the fork's a fair bit stiffer. It's got 35mm stanchions compared to the 32mm on the stock fork, and it should help the bike track a fair bit better on those rougher sections. The second benefit is that the fork's a lot lighter, so we'll see just how much weight we saved in a minute. The next reason is the improved range of adjustment. So like the stock fork, we can adjust the compression, the rebound, as well as the air pressure, but now we can also adjust the air volume in the air shaft using volume spacers. So along with the wider range of rebound and compression adjustment, I'll be able to really dial in my setup. So the next reason is the improved air spring. So the debonair air spring on these forks, it's absolutely super supple thanks to that bigger negative air chamber. So you're gonna really notice on the trails it smooths everything out and the fork feels like absolute butter. And the last reason is the improved damper as well. So the charger damper on these RockShox forks is absolutely amazing. It's going to provide a lot more control, and it's also a lot more composed as well. So I'm really excited to see how it performs on the trail. So now that the bike's fully built up with all the new gear, I think we should take a good look at it because it looks absolutely awesome. So if she rides as good as she looks, I think we're onto a winner here. But first off, how much weight do we save? I'm actually really surprised we cracked 15 kilos, so the bike now weighs a total of 14.7 kilos. But how well do those weight savings transfer onto the climb? Well, going up Escalade, we actually saved a bunch of time. Immediately when I was climbing up the trail, I knew that the bike was instantly faster. So the time we got was 4 minutes and 35 seconds, which was a saving of over 30 seconds, which is insane to believe. And I don't think I could get that much fitter in a few days. So those weight savings, especially those savings of weight and rotational mass, as well as the faster rolling tires, made a huge difference. Onto the first descent, we saved some time again, so we beat our previous time by 3 seconds. And although we did have a bit of hero dirt, I definitely felt that the bike was faster. And because the trail was a little bit wetter, it was actually more drag. So it was definitely the improvements on the bike that made the difference. And I just noticed with that fork, as well as those tires, I could trust the bike a lot more at speed. And onto the techie section now, and because it was wet, I didn't think we'd get actually faster in this section. Even though it's a short section, that first section I thought was a bit sketchy, but as soon as it sped up and got to that really chunky section, those improvements in the fork really shined. So because of that, we saved another 2 seconds there. Onto the lower part of Metamorphic now, and it was much like the first. I just noticed that the bike was a lot more stable at speed and I could trust it in the corners. So we saved another 2 seconds here as well. And then no surprises on the final climb as well, we saved around 30 seconds there too. So all around the track, the bike was significantly faster. So as you can tell, I'm pretty stoked with how the bike turned out. Not only is it faster now, but it's substantially lighter too. But I went all out on this build so far. With those forks, the wheels and tires, we're totaling around $1,500. So I think next time I should set myself a budget and see just how much faster I can get on some budget upgrades, along with setting up the bike right. So let me know what upgrades I should do next. Makes me wonder if she can compete with this bike here.